Hello people of the world and welcome to today's episode of Coffee Chats with Jax. I moved to Nashville almost a year ago and I've been thinking a lot about where my head was at back then and thinking a lot about the people that I've met and the people that I've come in a relationship with and the people that have gone away, I guess. I've had a lot of transition in this one new move. I've moved 4 times, like I've said before. I think it's probably normal in your 20s to move around like this and to have this amount of transitions, which I think I've talked about before as well. But when I first moved to Nashville, you guys, I think the biggest thing I was excited for was the idea of nobody knowing me. It was the idea of going to a city that literally no one knew anything about me. If I could walk around and tell people that I was a professional foosball player, they'd believe me. And you guys, I'm pretty bad at foosball, so that's really saying something. I was really excited to be able to be whoever I wanted to be and do whatever I wanted to do and have this clean, fresh start. I think at the root of that, I was just excited to not be known, which is weird because I'm learning kind of the opposite with my time here. There came a time in my move to Nashville where something really terrible happened in my life. It might have been the worst month ever. I remember posting a video about it and I didn't know what to say, so I just cried to the camera. But you guys, some really bad stuff happened in my life and I was in LA right after it happened and I felt really safe and really comfortable with my friends, and then all of a sudden it was time for me to go back to Nashville. And I remember getting on the plane and looking around and just seeing strangers and knowing that I was about to go back to a town that was my home, but nobody knew me there. At the heart, no one knew really all the things that made me me. It was basically might as well have been a bunch of strangers as well. And I broke down crying because it was the loneliest I've probably ever felt. Honestly, when I got back to Nashville, it was kind of like a wake-up call to me. It was like an emergency that I was like, okay, I need to make myself known. I need people. I need people in my life that know me, that know both the good and the bad. And sometimes sharing the bad sucks because it's they love me, but what if they find this out about me? Maybe I don't want people to know that about me. That was my biggest exciting thing coming here is I was no one knows my story. I was wrong. And so you guys, right when I got back to Nashville, I went hard at trying to make real genuine friends. I shared my story with people. I invested time in people. And yes, it was scary because sharing your story is scary. Getting in front of this camera every week is scary. I'm not gonna lie to you, these videos aren't a piece of cake for me sometimes. Sometimes it's vulnerable, and it's vulnerable because a lot of the time when I make these videos, you guys, it's not really about things that I've learned in the past. It used to be more like that. I used to kind of play it safe and made it about old stuff, but it kind of transformed into a weekly journal entry. I was just telling someone the other day about how it feels like a journal entry because I'm really just sharing my heart with you guys, and a lot of the time it's about what I'm going through right now. What I'm going through right now, sharing something with you without having an end moral of the story period at the end of it is very vulnerable because I don't always have an answer and I don't always know if it's gonna look pretty. I gotta let you into it because I want to be known. I gotta let my friends see me there because life doesn't work without that. It could just be me. Maybe that's just how I work, but it just doesn't make sense any other way to me. That being said, you guys, I think the biggest thing I've learned in Nashville is how important it is to have people around you, going through life with you, doing what you're doing, and loving you and encouraging you and showing you that no matter what you've done, you're loved anyway. It's been interesting because it's been very unpredictable. There's been a lot of change, but I'm starting to learn that sometimes change is good. Change is not as scary as I thought it was. Change in relationships is not as scary as I thought it was. And I think that there's an aspect of trust in that to where when we don't exactly know what's gonna happen, we just get to trust that it's gonna be okay. You guys, if you want to read the first 3 pages of my book, then please go check out my Patreon page. There's going to be a link below or a box on the side of the screen. I would really appreciate it if you guys could support me there and just get more involved in what I'm doing. Thank you so much to those of you who do that already. You've actually changed my life. You've truly put in purpose behind what it is that I want to do. I hope you had a great Easter with your family, friends, whoever you spent it with. I hope it was amazing. And yeah, don't eat too much candy because I got a stomachache from my Easter basket. But I love you and I'll see you next week.